the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnop.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a new river thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark.
Hey, good morning. How are you? Welcome to Tuesday here on the program. Hope you're okay.
He's got the
Hit us up on the
faster than a sprint.
Professional Door text line, 391-0788,
Every word's a hint.
or in the McClellan Chiropractic
To the
chat.
fields, the stories unfold. Rick's played
Marva
by
in Miami
worth its weight in
going to
gold.
join us here coming up.
With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in.
Carolina got a win last night against
Let the
Syracuse.
games begin. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night.
Brian Seigla from the Boundary Corner, and then Mike Burnop
He's
join us today. Hang on, be right back.
Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark.
All right. A little surprised, a little disappointed actually that the new BDST theme song was not nominated for a Grammy. I guess I just don't hate America enough for that to happen.
Sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite.
Brian Seigla,
Rick's in the zone.
Mike Burnop, and Marva here today.
Every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders, he's got the spark. Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark. Big dog sports.
Want to thank all of our sponsors, Family Fencing, sponsoring our studio. Family Fencing Studios, 540-200-8294. McClellan Chiropractic, Mark Huntley, right off of Walters Drive, once you get off of Pepperidge Ferry Road. Sponsor of our chat room, Bob Christ, Ready Set Fund, ReadySetFund.com. Bob Christ, CRIST11 at Gmail. He's the brother of Dave Christ. If your organization wants to raise some money, mention Travis Williams and everybody at Professional Door. I'll let that thing wrap around. Appreciate Trav as always. Sponsor of our text line. Family owned and operated for 38 years. They're going nuts in all the best ways possible up there. They're busy. National Bank member FDIC is the exclusive banking partner of this program. And they've been my exclusive banking partner for the last 35 years. Little River Heating and Air had somebody call me yesterday, watches the show. asking about Charles Lee. I said, just give him a call. You'll be as happy with that decision as anything that you made, personal life decision, in a long time. 540-553-2971. So Charles expects a call. And presenting sponsor is Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Thanks so much to Jonathan Sweet, Tim Miller. And, of course, today we'll also talk about Louise Baker when Mike Burnop comes on. Louise Baker, Long and Foster. She's getting away some tickets, by the way, this week. Thursday, we're going to have tickets. Yep. So we're looking forward to that. And we're working on getting Marty and Rags rescheduled. Maybe Thursday. We'll see. Thanks to Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, located over at 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. James Lawson is the owner. Give James a call, 540-381-8011. Parts for your windows, your doors, your plumbing. All sorts of good stuff that they bring to the table over there. And don't forget, the Super Bowl is going to have game time at the Super Bowl Sunday. This is the Super Bowl Sunday from 6 to 10 while the game's on. So they'll have the Super Bowl on all the televisions. You don't need to hear it anyway. $100 per lane, up to 8 bowlers, 4 hours of bowling fun. 540-382-5525. You get shoes, pizza, wings, 2 pitchers of soda. How about that? And thanks to everybody at the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce. Appreciate Steve. And thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel in Pulaski. If you want a T-shirt, hit me up. Morning, Rodney. How you doing? Yeah, we're in Tuesday. Everything's back to a normal, I think, work schedule for a while. Big week for Radford basketball. Big week for Tech basketball. We talked about that yesterday. Radford's got Winthrop tomorrow, hosting them. They're in first. You go to High Point coming up. From Jefferson National Forest, deep woods where Bigfoot roams, to Palm Coast where baby gators can be found in $1 million homes. BDST is live and online. Good morning, Morris. How are you? Yeah, we're going to start getting your insurance stuff going here. Good morning, Stephen. How's everybody doing in chat? Good stuff. Please subscribe, like, and share the channel. That would be awesome. We're going to be doing some things here soon to expand our reach. Appreciate David Mabry. Sent me a lot of clips. I got to figure out how to do all that. My kingdom for an intelligent octopus. It's tough during basketball season with travel and so forth to do all the things that I would like to do to expand the channel and the content. But there's going to be things coming up. And it'll be good. We may even have stuff loaded up here on the channel that's going to be separate for the main show that may not even be necessarily sports related. Just different types of conversations that we can have. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all evolves. Still relatively new to this, Didn't start it until August. I guess we're starting month 6 right now. Good morning, Prometheus. How are you? It's been cool. It's been very cool. The whole camera thing. I've gotten over it now finally. TLB says, why can't I incorporate music here? Yet there are bars in Key West who stream live music all day and night. Because this is strictly a YouTube deal with the record labels. Apparently there was a lot of content. $100%. Rodney says, so glad you didn't win a Grammy. You above all that. Yeah. I don't know who she is. I don't know one song, nor do I have any desire to ever know. But it's nice to see Billie, what's her name? Eilish, getting drugged through the sewer for her asinine comments about stolen land. The ignorance and the lack. First of all, the arrogance to get up there and talk about something you don't care about other than you want to just say, hey, I fall into how everybody else thinks about things and to have no information to support what you're saying. And then you go up there and you see these people that, well, it's just so funny. They show the clip. There's some blonde right after she says, "Oh my God, so brave. Oh, so brave. Listen, she hates America like all the rest of us, or at least we pretend to, because that's what we're expected to do. We all are multimillionaires and we don't live in the real world." So people are saying that since that somebody actually did a background and then the mansion that she lives in was actually on stolen land, that she needs to sell the mansion. No comment from Eilish or her handlers. Just shut the hell up. Hey, people in Hollywood, people in music, we don't care. Could not care less about what you think about politics, about the country, about anything that's happening, because you don't live in the real world. Nothing you do is real because you don't experience daily issues like the rest of us. Sorry. Oh my God. So bold. I can't believe she's up there saying what she was told to say. Just sick of it, man. Just sick of it. So I think one of the things I'm going to have to upload on the Big Dog channel, which will still be this show, the live show, is we got to just open up probably some type of show just to talk about how ridiculous things can be in certain areas of the world. And then people can just go off about anything. That might be something I do. That's true, Al. Nothing is real, including their music. And now they're showing the guys doing halftime, Bad Bunny, who I've never heard one of his songs. He won a Grammy. And he's sitting there like the table crying. Ugh, you can't hate. It's just insufferable. You can't hate these people enough. I mean, you think about it. If you're watching a show, have you ever gone down the road thinking, we got to make that 3-hour trip. I think I'll put some Bad Bunny on. Or, man, that Billie Eilish makes some really good points in her songs. Yeah. I hear she's up for a Grammy. No idea, TLB. Yeah, songs. And see, and now I've segued in, and now I completely understand it. Like, when I was growing up, and to my dad's credit, there was some of the music that I listened to that he would like. He was coming out of the 50s and 60s, the original rock and roll. He was a big Motown fan. Coming into the 70s, he's a little older, was working all the time, working in the arsenal and on the farm. But there were some of the songs that he liked. But I think he recognized that it was actually artists making music. I've gotten to that point now, and I hear all this newer stuff, I guess it is, when I'm at a ball game. When you're at an arena, they're playing it. We're in warm-ups for the crowd. And you're sitting there and you hear something sometimes and you go, this is legitimately the worst song I've ever heard, yet it's made that guy or gal millions of dollars. And I realize, okay, I guess I'm being my dad now. I'm being dad now. But I get it. So I couldn't tell you what is considered good today. Everything is sampled. Everything is repackaged. I wonder, you think about it too, all these people that are in college, young kids are in college and high school, they hear these songs, the sampling, the rhythms from these other songs. and they think that it's original to the artist. I'm sure they have no idea. Let's start with a new parrot head type group. We can call us the Sasquatch Deep Wood Dreamers from Key West to Virginia in the Southwest. So I've been watching a guy. Now that we've lost Dr. Jeff Meldrum, God rest his soul, I've been watching a guy. It's called Cabin in the Woods. And he's a guy that alleges that he had a specific experience out in the woods with a Bigfoot or Sasquatch. What he thought was, pretty sure it's a Sasquatch. And his channels exploded. It's absolutely exploded. And he's in this deep dive. I mean, he's in a spirituality type thing. He is exploring all areas of the whole Bigfoot phenomenon. But he is doing something cool now because he is going back and talking to a lot of Native American groups and the tribal leaders about the history of it. Does TLB play guitar? I don't know. Do you, TLB? Do you play the guitar? And it's interesting to hear the takes of the tribal leaders. And when they talk about Bigfoot, as opposed to everybody else immediately has skeptical takes on it. They talk about the whole thing as if it's just going out and buying groceries. Oh, of course. Yeah. Used to see a family of them every day down the fence line, working on the farm, out in the garden. And what it could mean, whether it's just another form of man or whether it's actually a creature. I don't know. I've always been fascinated by the lore. I don't sit around thinking, oh, yeah, this is 100% true. And anybody who decides to disagree is just horrible, because that's what we do now in this world. We can't disagree. I just love the lore. I would like to think that it's real. I don't know what I would do if I were out there. All right. TLB's been playing for 48 years. That's awesome. That's awesome, TLB. Thunder says, I hope I hopped off the pop music train a long time ago. We have decades of old country and rock music. Yeah, exactly. It's all studio machines, voice correctors, right? They get in the studio, they try to sing and they can't. So they automatically have a computer that changes their voice to sound a certain way on the recording. Oh, that's awesome. TLB's been playing live for 44 years. Congratulations. I'd like to go hear your band. Is it just you or you have a band? That'd be great. That would be awesome. Just make sure you don't go up there on stage and play on any stolen land. Or Billie Eilish won't like it. Yeah. Yeah. God. Whew. Throw Hokey Bob in there for some great vocals. I'd love to hear Hokey Bob sing. Why do I get the impression I know that Hokey Bob can sing? Feels like I know that. Bob, is that true? You out there, Bob? I think Hokey Bob can sing. Pretty sure. I always wanted to sing, but I really can't sing. So Tech is off this week, and they play NC State Saturday. That's a big, big game for Tech. Big game on the hardwood. Records are almost the same. Tech 16-7, NC State 16-6. That could be one of those regular season elimination games for the tournament bubble. Voice as deep as a valley, no dilly, no dally, Inoki Bob. The lyrics on the BDST song are more well thought out than anything that walked off the stage winning a Grammy this past whenever the hell it was. Was it Sunday? Can you imagine planning your day centered around watching any of these award shows? What? TLB's in a 3-piece classic rock cover band called Vicar Switch. I like that. But I also sing and play to church, and I'm working up a solo acoustic show now. Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. Not only the best audience on YouTube, but the most talented audience on YouTube. So Roger Goodell stood up yesterday in front of everybody and says that Bad Bunny and Green Day will not get political. In other words, they had to set them down. They were hired just because they have political mindsets that agree with Goodell and the NFL. And with a straight face, Goodell says that this platform is used to unite people and to be able to bring people together with their creativity. I think Bad Bunny understands that. I think he'll give a great performance. And he gets up there with a straight face. Worst commissioner. I used to think that the baseball commissioners were the worst I've ever seen, but he and Adam Silver are right up there all time. Thunder says, those around me recommend that I sing very low. We take winters off. Smart move this year. Yeah. Tell me about it. And we did have a decent melt yesterday, which was cool. But the sun didn't stay out long. I thought the sun was going to be out all day. We lost the sun about midday here in Reiner. Never came back. Supposed to get a little rain on this. That'll help get rid of a little bit of it as it gets over freezing today. It's supposed to be about 40 today. So that will be very, very nice. But Goodell brings these people in who are on record to talk about how they hate half the country. I mean, this Bad Bunny guy reiterated it during the Grammys, apparently. And so then he gets up there yesterday and says, this is to unite people with a straight face. We have people that go out in this world to our face, and because it's so accepted from the way the media goes about their business, where everything's a lie, there's no getting things right. Truth doesn't matter. It's who's ever just conforming to the lie. People lie so much that everything's presented as a lie. Anything politically, for the most part, whichever side you support, is probably a lie. The access media doesn't care about getting anything right. They just want to pile on to the agenda. We can see with our own eyes. You can look at the facts of what's going on with illegal immigration as opposed to immigration, which no one's ever had a problem with. You can go back and look at the history of the presidents who have deported more people than any other president, right? And you can look at the facts in which political party that they belong to, and you can look up those historical numbers and get educated before you take a stance, or you can just go out and lie, and because it's the popular thing to say, or people are going to just receive you well and not cancel you, you say it. And Roger Goodell gets up there and totally just steeped in no reality other than he's a multimillionaire. He makes $60 million a year. He doesn't care what he says. He doesn't care how it's received. And he expects people just to go, well, hey, Roger Goodell said it's here to unite people. But you got two people, two artists, and I use that term loosely, Green Day and Bad Bunny. If you don't believe like me, I'm pretty sure Green Day said, if you voted for the guy I didn't vote for, go to hell. Don't come to our concerts. I'm pretty sure that was whatever the lead singer's name is. I think that's what he said. Same thing with this guy, Bad Bunny. So that's already half the country that the people you're paying all this money to come entertain on Super Bowl Sunday, right? You've already done that, yet Goodell gets up there and talks about how this is going to be a unifying thing. They've already chosen to not unify. They've already chosen the audience that they want to continue to eat up everything NFL. Correct, TLB. Lemmings following fools. The brainwashing is it's immaculate. But yet you see what's going to happen. It's going to be the most watched Super Bowl ever worldwide. That's all they're going to talk about. So this just reloads the weaponry to go out and do the same thing over and over again. I never liked Green Day anyway. And then when I heard them start to talk, I realized how much I didn't like them more. Where are the country artists? As Mark Wahlberg said, it's been 22 years since there's been any country representation at the show. Isn't that bias? Isn't that prejudice? I just want to see Prince. God rest his soul. I want to see the reruns of the Prince halftime show. We went out in the rain and destroyed it. Other than that one, I can't remember a good one. I really don't. But the sideshow of this whole weekend overtakes the game. You don't hear anything about the Patriots or the Seahawks. You hear about all this other stuff. I haven't heard anything about the commercials. I don't care about the commercials anymore. I think they've gotten really bad too. And they can't stay away from politicizing everything either. It's steeped in our tradition of sports history in this country as being the most Americanized thing, professional football. And now it is being pulled in every direction away from the country that made it what it was. And I'm not talking about just going out and trying to promote your game to get more worldwide interest. I'm all for that. That they announced yesterday, all these teams are going to be going to these different countries. Pretty soon, they're going to add the 18th game, and every team will be playing an international game. They're going to have teams flying to Australia during the season, which means you're going to lose 2 days. They take home games away from fans who buy season tickets, who support these teams, all for the betterment of the league, to go out and make it more worldwide renowned. And we'll see. Does the NFL ever hit a cap of popularity? I mean, I don't know. The numbers go up every year. The ratings this year were higher than the year before. And that's exactly what they hang their hat on. So they think they're doing something right. And they clearly are. But I don't know how much of that is, the money that they're making. Is that just where the cost of living has gotten or what? I don't know. We've talked about it here on the show a lot. The brand of football is not great in the National Football League today. I mean, it's not. It's not great. Quarterback play is the worst that it's ever been across the league. I mean, you start looking at the facts, you start breaking down all the intervals of what's going on in the game. I mean, Phillip Rivers, what is he, 45 years old, was able to come out of retirement. He hadn't played in what, 5 years or so? Comes out of retirement and starts 2 football games in the NFL. Can't imagine that would ever remotely have been possible even 10, 20 years ago. Brian Oliver says, hey, good morning, Brian. If you have a season ticket, you should have a free plane ticket to go watch your team. Yeah. But they're not worried about American fans. It's all about the international whole. They don't care about the American fan. And they don't care about, well, I always hesitate to say they don't care about the players. The players are millionaires, and the salary cap's going up higher than it ever has been. Shows you the kind of money the league's making. Todd Grantham was sending me a text. The league's filthy rich. Cap's going up to the highest it's ever been. So the money being made is just ridiculous. They're going to be $1 trillion industry soon. And obviously that's going to corrupt things even more. The more money you make, the more power you have. The more power you have, the more you feel like you can't be touched. Therefore, you become more corrupt. And the league is just going to continue to go, 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 go. Yeah, the kickoff is stupid. It is. Go back to the regular kickoff. They won't. That's their effort to show players they care about them while they're making them travel all these other places you don't know whether or not everything's taken care of from player safety or not. Yeah. Think of all the money you have to spend just to set up a game in Australia. Wayne says, I don't watch pro hockey, but is that the last pro sport staying true? I think the NHL has the most passionate players by far, no question. The genuine love for the sport for hockey players is, I think, unmatched. I think fans probably feel the same way. Now, in those cities, NHL is massive. Massive. They don't have a huge TV deal, right? We're not watching the NHL Game of the Week. They do it up in the Canadian cities, hockey night, all those years. I mean, I love hockey, but it's never going to be, it's a specialized sport, right? And if you're not in one of those cities, you don't understand it as much because you don't just throw on a pair of ice skates, go out and grab your stick and your puck and grab your buddies like you used to backyard football or a wiffle ball game. Or let's go to the high school and shoot some hoops, right? Hey, Bobby, hey, go grab your skates, right? But in the cities themselves, hockey is massive, the support. But we don't have skates. It's not something that we do if you're not in the city. If you're in the Northeast or if you're in Canada or if you're Midwest, upper Midwest, I mean, hockey, yeah, you probably grow up and you think, okay, this is part of my DNA, but not outside of that. So therefore, we don't relate to it, Wayne. So I get it. We're not on skates. Those guys walk or skate like we walk and run around. It amazes me. But it's second nature to them. I love it. I'm a Sabres fan, by the way. TLB says, I watch a lot of the PGA, but they haven't run that yet. Well, they kind of have. I don't know where everything stands. I'm not educated enough to know about the whole PGA Live Tour thing. Is that still a thing? Are we still doing that? Like, do we still have the PGA guys and the Live Tour guys that the Saudis started? Is that still a thing? Where's Richie Davis? He's our golfing guy. And guys only playing certain events, or they couldn't play certain events except for the majors. So, see, I think they have kind of ruined it. It's not the same there either. Everything gets ruined. It's money. Money is the root of all evil, man. It goes back to that simple biblical context, but it's so true. It ruins everything. It ruins absolutely everything. And it's the business part of sport is so enhanced. And that's what we've been talking about with college sports. And college sports is now being ruined because of all this too. We're in the first stages of it, but it's almost there. And it will be within a couple of years. And we'll be looking at college sports throughout like we do professional sports right now. Agreed, Tebow. Agreed. We're already frustrated about the portal. We're already frustrated about the have and the have-nots, the conflict of interest with ESPN, and how the SEC and the Big Ten have already been separated and they're segregated, making all of the choices for everybody else because they're the two money makers. The college sports is about to fall prey completely as well, if it hasn't already. I mean, that's where we're going. That's where it's headed. And if you are a long time, like all of us, that's why you do this show. Why do you think I started this show back in 2001? Because we're all sports people. We grew up loving it. It's our vice. It's our outlet. It takes us away from the real world. We played it. It taught us so much about our lives. It taught us so much about how to grow up, how to treat people, how to accept a teammate as your teammate. Doesn't matter where they're from. And this is my naivete about life. The only thing that mattered to me was who my teammate was on my team. Right? It sounds naive now. It's so outdated. I didn't give a damn what they looked like. I don't care what color they were, where they were from. Were they Christian? Were they not Christian? Were they Republican? Were they Democrat? Who gives a damn? Are you wearing that burgundy and gold jersey for Joel Hicks? Then you're my guy. You're my partner. We're friends. And that's what sports represented to me. And I've taken that throughout my life. Are you on my team? Then you're on my team. We don't allow that to happen anymore. Sports created that. It created that in all of us growing up. Competition. My tribe against your time. I'm a Cowboys fan. You're a Redskins fan. You're a Redskins fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. Let's go see who's better on that Sunday. There's not much out there that we can grasp onto now. And I believe a lot of it is the ideals of America are now so crapped on by these generations and by the media. And it goes back to what I said yesterday. And this is why I have to create a different type of channel on my channel. We'll always have BDST, but this is where the regard for this country is no longer in any way, shape, or form paramount to most politicians. I won't say all. Certainly the media. And whereas the greatness and the opportunity of America, what it's provided throughout generations of families, people within it on a day-to-day basis can't wait to get in and crap on it, tear it down like they do at these stupid award shows. The irony is dripping with the way they sit there and they're multimillionaires making money off of this American system that they're up there. But you can't have success on stolen land. Oh my God, she's so brave. Actual footage from the Grammys. I mean, I still believe you go out, you want to learn a craft, you go learn it. You go out and you work hard, you get a job. right? That you want, stuff that you want to do. Is America taking that away from people? Or are people just sitting around trying too hard to take things away from America? All these people have all this money because of the opportunity they've been provided, and yet they can't wait to get and tell everybody how horrible it is to be here. And it's the most amazing de-evolution of progress that I've ever seen in my life. And it only seems to happen here. Tebow says, my big thing is loyalty. That's what it used to be about, and that's history. They've created a generation of quitters. Correct. Just look at the transfer portal. Look at, you're rewarded because you can leave, quit, like you're saying, Tebow, one school, make more money to go to the other. And then if another opportunity presents itself, you can quit, leave that school, and go to another. Like, why do we even have senior days anymore in college athletics? Like, what's the point? You got guys and female athletes that have been on 3 or 4 different schools since they've gone through their collegiate career now. What does it mean if they show up at their final destination? Why do we even do it anymore? Seems pretty pointless, doesn't it? You see, what these people are so stupid and uneducated understand, they're allowed to say all these things against America because of the freedom, as Wayne just pointed out, that America gives them. You're not hauled off to jail. You're not arrested because you can speak your mind. And the fact that they can say something in one breath and not understand that valuation tells me all I need to know. But in any event, seeing Goodell get up there yesterday, I was just laughing out loud at this guy. And I wonder how many people were sitting there going, did he really just say that? Or they just fall in line like the SEALs, like the trained SEALs, who are either brainwashed or just too damn stupid to understand what they're hearing is the most idiotic thing ever. And they can only make that decision for themselves. Marva's going to join us. Marva in Miami. I believe I sent her the invoice. The invoice. Marva, I'm making you pay now. I'll send it to you again. Marva sometimes has trouble with her email. There, I'll send it to both of them. That way she'll have 2 different options to join. There we go. All right, let's get back into some hoops. Sorry there about the tangent. Sorry, not sorry. Tebow says, Neo, to me, hasn't quit, but the kid is 19 years old. I find it hard to believe that big of a pay he got and all the hype hasn't hurt him. Well, yeah, I think you're right. We talked about this yesterday, Tebow. No, he hasn't quit. He's playing hard. He's just not playing well. And that's where I wonder how much that influences the decision of Mike Young. Like, for instance, now they've been hurt, so they don't have the depth that they normally have. So you may not have the luxury to sit him, but he needs to sit for a while. I don't mean not play at all, but he needs to take longer breaks. He needs to maybe not even start. Something like that. Rick, did you put a Seth Greenberg move on Marva? Tell you what, Rick, we'd love to come on your show. Oh, right, Coach, that'd be great. Just got a day. Okay, that'll be $500. Yeah, it's $500 per show. Right? No. Oh. You see, Coach, you called me because the show's popular. You called me. I didn't reach out to you, and you're telling me you want to come on and that you want $500. You can't make it up. Good morning, Chris. How are you doing? Mom, I sent Marva 2 invites. She's saying she can't get in. Marva has more problems with her. There we go. Now we got her. Well, what do you expect from a Carolina grad? She can't figure out how email links work. Now, if you went to Duke, you might be able to figure all this out. Oh!
Okay. These things are complicated, okay? Like, I was expecting, sometimes you sent the other account. I didn't know what was going on, Rick, but it's okay. I'm here, right?
First of all, how's everybody healthy? How's everybody? They feel
flu is
better?
gone. Everybody's healthy.
Yay!
And you sound much better, so.
I am. I'm on all sorts of antibiotics. I got like 6 antibiotics going right now. I'm ready to go. I'm on steroid. I mean, I'm ready now. You want to go run through a wall? You want to go build a building? Let's go, Marv. Let's go.
Oh, my goodness. So you finally had to go to the doctor?
Yeah. Before we left for Charleston last Wednesday, I realized I had been defeated. I went through this massive coughing fit. I was coughing so much, not to be too graphic, but I was bleeding, coughing up.
Oh, my goodness.
And I thought, well, this might segue into pneumonia. So I went and I got it diagnosed with some kind of acute bronchitis because I didn't have a fever. I didn't have a fever, and I didn't feel bad anywhere else.
Just the cough.
So I went and they gave me like 4 antibiotics, and I just got them re-upped yesterday. So I'm ready to go.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad. And hi, Christopher. I saw someone said.
Yeah, everybody loves Marva. When you're not on, I hear about it. Where's Marva? Well, she's got family, you know. She's got exactly.
Well, I try to be here every week, but every once
I know
in
you
a
do.
while.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Look, you're not wearing Carolina colors the day after a big win.
I'm not, because again, it's really cold and like.
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go.
No, seriously, it is so cold. Like yesterday, when I went to take my daughter to school, it's in the 30s, and I'm going to check right now and see what it is. It's 38. It's very like. It
wow,
never gets
now that
cold
is kind of cold for y'all. Wow.
Yeah, never gets
38.
Yes, and it says it feels like 29. I am not used to this. I have like 3 sweaters, okay? And none of them are Carolina colors, unfortunately. So, sorry. But yeah, since we were last on, Carolina has done really well in 2 games, but Georgia Tech on the road, and which was a home going for Caleb Wilson. He's from Atlanta. And then last night at home against Syracuse. Now, there's a caveat to that. Carolina was up at one point last night by 32 points. And I was a little watching, and I was a little worried, like, well, when is, Hubert Davis going to take out the starters? Because I was fearful that Caleb Wilson would get hurt in garbage time, and it didn't make any sense. So he pulled them out, and then Syracuse went on a crazy run. They got that lead down to single digits, and he had to put the starters back in. Carolina ended up winning by 10. But I don't know why I do this to myself, Rick, but I go online and people are like, oh my goodness, how do we give up such a big lead? You can't put those guys in there that soon. And these are the same people. If he had not done that, they say, oh, why doesn't he put the bench guys in? Let them get some reps. Like, you just can't, you can't win. But I never thought Carolina was going to lose the game, but it was concerning to give up such a big lead.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, but what also impressed me just as a basketball fan was the fact that even though they were down that much, the Syracuse players did not give up. Because sometimes you see a team and they get down by that much and you can tell they're out of it. Their will is gone. They don't care anymore. They're thinking about what time do we get on the bus or whatever. But it was not like that. And so I was impressed by them doing that. I know it's been a rough couple of seasons for them, but I was impressed that they still had the fight in it. And it's a lesson, hopefully, for the Carolina players that when you get somebody down like that, you get them down by 32, you want to get them down by 40. You want to keep
foot
building.
on the throat. I know. And it happens all the time. It seems like it happens a lot in college basketball.
Yeah.
I've been noticing that too, even in our league. Yeah. We'll have big leads, or other team will have a big lead against somebody else you're watching. You're like, wow, all of a sudden it's 5 or 6 points. Strange the way it just kind of slowly matriculates back into, hey, this is a close game again. Yeah, you're right.
I think just the intensity goes down, and it's about having that mentality of, like you said, keep your foot on their throat, keep going, keep pushing. And I think it also shows there's obviously going to be a talent difference when you put in bench players for Carolina, that especially in the front court, you see that. And so, some of those guys that sit on the end of the bench, I mean, there's a reason that they're sitting on the end of the bench, and stop pushing to play them all the time. I mean, these guys, they probably won't see any playing time against Duke on Saturday, very little if they see any. And I think it's important to, rest the starters. They had a good effort. I think against Georgia Tech, Carolina had, can't remember now, it was like 2 turnovers, like just really good, shoring up things defensively for the starters. And so I think it's going to be a good game on Saturday.
Is it at Duke or is it at Carolina?
It's at Carolina.
Well, you haven't lost at home this year.
No, have not lost at home, and want to keep that record going. So it's going to be tough, but I definitely think it's doable.
But Duke hasn't lost a road game. Something's got to give, Marva.
Yeah, I know. And of course, all the hype surrounding it. But as the announcers were saying last night, and unfortunately, Jason Williams was one of them. But as they're saying, on that game, there's going to be it's going to be so much hype and so much intensity for the crowd, for the fans. I mean, everybody's going to be at 100, right? So I think that plays into Carolina's favor. Playing it at home, some of these guys, their first time going up against Duke. And I think it's going to be it's certainly no one's going to develop a 32-point lead. I don't think. It's going to be a very good game. And hopefully it's going to go down to the wire. And hopefully Carolina comes on top.
Now, you're biased, obviously, because you're just right smack dab in the middle of the rivalry.
Yes.
Is Duke Carolina really a national interest rivalry, or is it just something ESPN created years ago?
It's not TV hype. It is not.
But I mean, is it a
hype.
national thing? Do people outside, but people outside of this region don't care about Carolina and Duke?
Well, the thing is about
right.
A lot of Duke students are from in the Northeast,
so
you've got them, and so people do care. I think they're and of course it's biggest in the state of North Carolina. So whether a person went to Carolina or Duke, usually a lot of people, those are the teams that have been the most successful, and people will gravitate towards those teams. So like I said, you don't have to have gone there. And
like Michigan, Ohio State.
Yes.
It's considered the biggest rivalry, but here we watch it, but we don't go, yeah, got to watch.
Yeah. I mean,
Michigan,
I watch it because I'm
hoping
for a good football game, but I don't really care,
Correct. And that's what I wonder.
I
just wonder.
Duke still has a lot of Duke hate, because things that have gone on in the past. A lot of people did not like Mike Krzyzewski.
I don't understand why, Marva. I don't understand. We've won so much.
So many reasons. And then they have, the whole Grayson Allen thing, with the tripping people.
Oh, Grayson Allen. Forgot about him.
And if you go way back, there are a lot of people don't like Christian Laettner. I still remember him stomping on that guy's chest for Kentucky.
Yeah.
I don't care about Kentucky, but I was like, wow, that's a dirty play. So I think that they've built up a brand. They've built a brand. A lot of people don't like them. And of course, there are people that don't like Carolina as well. I don't know if the hate is as strong because there are not as many people that, oh my gosh, nobody can stand, Rasheed Wallace or something. You don't see that. But there are people for Duke that people really dislike. And so I think that makes people interested in it, even if they don't have a connection to the school. They didn't go there. They didn't grow up around it.
Yeah.
People have feelings, strong feelings.
That's fair. That's very fair. Very fair. Now, I think you're right. I don't think people look at it the same way. I think the Duke reputation of hatred for years follows them. Carolina doesn't really have. Hansborough may have been one of those guys people didn't like. I don't know how you don't like
people
Rasheed
respected
Wallace.
him though, even if they didn't like him. Like
He played hard. He just wasn't
he
very
played
good.
hard all the time. Not a dirty guy. He played hard.
He washed out in the NBA pretty quickly. But
well, sometimes a game doesn't translate to the next level. But at the college level though, he was amazing.
True. Very, very true.
Yeah. And he did play in the NBA for several years, bounced around.
TLB says that Marva is salty on Kentucky, though. Is that true?
I don't really like Kentucky, no. But still, I didn't like what Christian Laettner did that game, right? So
right, exactly.
Yeah, Grayson Allen was still tripping people in the NBA. Like, he tried that a few times. So that's what I mean. That's just, And I don't think anybody hated, like Zion Williamson. I don't think anybody hated him. But, we see what's happened.
Oh, that's a good one. So. All right, so the attorney Ryan Pry asked a question. You ready? Miss Basketball Gal. Who was UNC's last NBA All-Star drafted? I think I know the answer to this.
Oh, gosh, that's a good question. No, stop that. Don't put the pressure on. I think it's been a while since Carolina has had an All-Star.
Who was the guard that was really good years ago? Lawson? Ty Lawson?
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about like Kobe White. He plays in the NBA for the Chicago Bulls.
Was Lawson highly drafted?
I don't remember if his draft stock. I don't know, but I know he was very good at Carolina. And there was a guy that plays for the Magic right now. And I'm sorry, my brain, I'm trying to pull up his name. But All-Star that I remember, I'm thinking about like, was it Vince Carter or?
That's what people in chat are saying.
Yeah, Vince Carter, I think. So it's been a while. Carolina's had some players Carolina does have players in the NBA, players in the G League, players playing in Europe. And it's just.
Well, so does Radford.
Well, but still, even if a player is in the NBA and they're not an all-star, it's still an amazing accomplishment. Like, I don't like to rat on people who are, just playing, because there's still some phenomenal players. But I feel like this is going to change very quickly when Caleb Wilson goes to the NBA next year, unfortunately. I would love to see him stay, but he's an incredible talent. He's got to go, right? And
well, it's a shame the product's so bad in the NBA. I don't know if being an all-star in the NBA even means the same thing anymore.
I would disagree. I know people like to, rat on the NBA. Oh, they don't play defense.
Well, no, it's just terrible basketball. It's not even liking to do. I don't want to feel that way. You just watch a game. It's terrible basketball.
Well, I feel like there are some terrible games. Yes, there's some terrible games in all the professional leagues. Sometimes there's a terrible game, but I think the top players, like the top guys, are still amazing to watch on their individual teams. And so I still like to watch, and I don't watch a lot during the regular season. I watch a few here and there. But I'm always amazed by the athleticism. I'm always amazed by what the players are doing. And so, like I said, I know it's a pastime. People like to, rat on them. It's not as good. And I think people who do that don't watch it as much. So there are some phenomenal players I still enjoy watching very much, and I'm thinking about the guys kind of coming towards the end of their careers. Like, I'm gonna miss watching Steph Curry shoot the basketball when he decides to wrap it up.
But in irony, he's been a part of the major problem of the deterioration of the game.
Well, because everybody thinks they can be Steph Curry.
Yeah, they decided to make it a 25-foot 3-point shooting game, and nobody had any desire to know how to play, half-court sets or to work it inside out, to get posted. Now it's just, let's just go down and do the impersonation.
That's not his fault. He is a once-in-a-generation player, and he's amazing. And everybody, I think what I've seen, unfortunately, is a trickle down to players in college or high school. They think they're going to be the next Steph Curry, and they're doing stuff like that. And you got to realize you're not. That's not you. And so, but people have figured it out. Obviously, 3 is more than 2. And people think we have to do so well at the 3. And we've seen people have a couple shooters on their team, and they can just make incredible runs because they got that one guy who can shoot lights out.
The league. LeBron faded a long time ago, but when they finally are all gone, there's nobody to carry the mantle in the NBA. And there's no American players to carry the mantle. At that point, immediately all the international guys are going to be the most renowned players in the league. And I don't know how that's going to go for marketing.
I mean, everybody's though talked about this. I think we're going to see a resurgence. I mean, everybody's talked about the phenomenal freshmen playing college this year. And most of them are going to be, these one and dones. It's just a great freshman class, people are saying. And so let those guys develop. And I also feel like there are people who are playing that maybe we're just not talking about as much, especially if you are only like me. I watch, a handful of games, like on when they had all the games on Christmas Day. I maybe watched 2 or 3 of those. But as it gets to the playoffs, I will be watching. And there are guys that you just don't know as a casual NBA fan, because I'm not there all the time. Don't watch it every night. Like my husband watches more than I do. He watches a lot more Heat games than I do. But I feel like when March is going to be great. I think March is going to be a great tournament, and people are going to start following these guys, and they will follow them onto the professional ranks. And I don't think Americans reject the European players. I mean, maybe there's not as much excitement. It's just,
they don't relate to them because it's just like if American players go to another country, they're not as relatable to, the fans in that
some
country.
Of them, it just seems like maybe there's not as much of a personality, or we haven't seen it yet, maybe. But I think people like personalities. I think people maybe they like guys who are talking a lot or chirping a lot, or maybe, it's just, I haven't seen that. I mean, I don't have, you said, well, who's your favorite European player? I'd say, I don't know. I mean, I don't really know.
Nikola Jokic. Yeah, exactly. I know what you're saying.
I just don't find him even though he's a great basketball player, and I give him props. I mean, he has phenomenal skills, but I just don't think, I want to watch him. And that's bad. I mean, maybe I should feel that way because he does have.
That's a great point. No, you make a great point. Yeah. Okay. That's a better conversation. When all these people are finally gone, and I don't ever watch a game because of LeBron anyway, or even Steph anymore, but when they're gone, who are you going to go, I got to watch him play? Right. That's a great point. That's a great point.
And I don't know. I mean, for a while, when the Heat was playing really, really well, and I would see a lot of, I would watch them play the Bucks, and I would see Giannis, but I just don't think, I want to turn on and watch Giannis. I just don't. I'm not there.
Yeah.
Even though he's a phenomenal.
Even Wemby.
Yeah. I mean, I like to watch his highlights. I see his highlights, and I see he does some amazing things. But I just don't have that, I got to watch him tonight type feel yet.
Yeah,
but I
exactly.
think somebody always comes up. Somebody will come up and we will want to see that person again. But I don't feel that way. I feel like if you look on the women's side, there are more people saying, I want to watch Caitlin Clark. I want to see what she does.
I don't know. I think the popularity of women's basketball has really gone down. You don't hear much about it. College basketball.
I mean, it's not even in the season right now.
I'm not about women's college basketball. Even since that class left and she's gone, and the WNBA is what it is. It's a disaster. But the fact that they've turned their back on her and tried to knock her down, it killed all the momentum that women's basketball
I still think there are people who are excited about it. And there's certain teams I like to watch, or that I will pay attention to, even if I'm just watching to see what the scores are. I will pay attention to certain teams because they're the top teams are kind of set. And, I like to follow. I'll see what is South Carolina doing. I'll see, what's going on with UConn. But it's like a casual thing. I'm not tuning in.
Exactly.
But when March comes, when the tournament starts, I will definitely be watching some games, and I'll watch some key matchups probably before then. But I'm not a day in, day out person with it. No. I'll just kind of, see, South Carolina lost. Okay, that's interesting.
Women's basketball had the greatest star it's ever produced, and they decided to kick dirt all over her and try to turn her into something to where now she's just this passive. She was hurt last year. In the league, it was crazy the way all that went.
I think her getting hurt, having to sit for so long, hurt things more. I think people are still excited about her. Let's see what happens with the season. They're having some labor issues there, and they want to make
labor issues.
Well, you know what I mean.
I know
they're working on that, And
what is there to work on? The league loses $40 million a year. It's supplemented by the NBA. What do they expect to get?
I mean, some of the things that they have been asking for, and I think some of the things that have been granted are just like things that you would think are basic. And I think, for the longest time, they were still traveling commercial. And the issue became there's some teams that had the funds, that they could have chartered flights. And they didn't want those teams to be able to do that. And so you say, well, that's a fairness issue. But it seems like, I don't know, because, sorry, I just had a weird thing happen on my screen. Sorry, a big pop-up. I can't see you right now. But
Marva,
yeah, so
we're here.
I heard you, so it was fine. But yeah, I think some of the things they're asking for were pretty basic and could be done. And I don't know all the particulars. I don't follow it again every day, but I think they will come to an agreement. And I think maybe it's not you they're after. Like they're trying to get kids. I still think there's an incredible level of excitement, especially for young girls to watch these players.
I hope so.
That's good to give them, some role models, so thinking that they can do things, sports are for them too. I just think it's interesting with that dynamic and trying to get girls interested, because I think we even see it like with the NFL, they're pushing this flag football. And there's a lot of girls now playing flag football.
Oh, it's now a collegiate sport. Did you realize that?
Yeah.
It's going to be a club sport next year. We're getting it at Radford in a few years.
I think that's cool. Like, when I was back in school, if I could have had a chance to play flag football, I definitely would have tried to play this, because I do love the game and it's fun. And they're also thinking, well, boys are playing flag football too. You have parents who are worried about their kid getting hurt. So here, play flag football. It's safer and you can still have fun. So I think the executives are always looking ahead. If they don't have you, they're like, we're going to get these young girls and get families pulled in and get them watching and get them going to the games.
Yeah. Well,
because there's
had to
some
be devastating.
Men. I'm not saying that about
field.
you, but there's some men who are never going to watch. They're never going to watch, women's sports, and that's fine. They realize that there's like a wider, there's a much larger population. There's a larger group they can get involved.
Well, I don't know. Many of the sports at Radford,
and again,
I like watching.
I'm not you, but you know what I mean, Rick. You're there. There's some men who are never going to watch, and that's fine.
Like I generally get excited when I'm calling a women's soccer game, because our program's so good with Ben Sarabi that every time you watch, you realize that's the 10-time conference champions right there. It's like this. So yeah. Well, good stuff. Oh, by the way, who's winning on Sunday? Seattle or New England?
I can't go against Drake. I cannot.
You got to be the Drake, right?
We love
the Drake. We love the Drake.
We love Drake. I think but I do think it's going to be close, and I think it's going to come. There are going to be some heroics, I think, on both sides offensively, but at the end of the day, I think Drake is going to lead his team on a winning drive, and he's going to be the MVP.
Oh, okay. All right. If that happens, you're getting a text.
Okay. If it doesn't happen, I'm sure I'll probably still get a text.
You'll get it. No, because AFC guy, even though they beat my team, I want the AFC to win the Super. I'm always going to be an AFC, unless it's the Chiefs or the Raiders.
Yes. I get it. I know that about you.
I won't pull for them, but anybody else can go ahead and win it from the AFC. Okay. Yeah. Well, great stuff as always. Glad to have you with us. And I'm sorry for our connectivity problems. Did you not see the first two invites, or they just kind of your spam?
I don't know. I think it's more like my computer. I think maybe it's something weird with my computer, because after I texted you, then I'm like, I kept trying to refresh and see what's happening, and finally I got it. So I think it's on my end.
Okay.
Maybe it's too cold here. My electronics can't work.
It's the 38 degrees. You can't function. You don't know what to do.
No, I don't.
That's as close as we've been in temperatures in a long time, because it is 23 here in Reiner. So we're closer this time.
Yeah. I don't like this.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 66 here or something. 70. What's happening?
Good stuff. All right, Ms. Marva.
Well, you have a good week. I'm so glad you're feeling better. You sound so much better.
Thank you very much. I am feeling better. And good luck to your heels on Saturday.
Thank you.
You may get a text or two about that one too.
Okay, good.
All right. Be good.
Okay. See you later. Bye.
That's Miss Marva in Miami, joining us on the program. I don't know what I missed in chat over here since I've been gone. Yeah. Who knows what I missed in chat? Who knows what I missed? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about the WNBA is just a money sieve. It is supplemented by the NBA annually, which is the only reason it functions. That league could never function on its own. And, yeah, I'll stand by it. Tell me a bigger out-of-college women's basketball megastar than Caitlin Clark when she was getting ready to finish up at Iowa in the history of women's basketball. And this is not saying there haven't been great women's players who were stars on the Olympic team. Cheryl Miller comes to mind. Cheryl Swoops, the early days of the WNBA when they were the pioneers of that league. This isn't talking against them, but there's never been a bigger opportunity to further entrench women's basketball beyond collegiate play than what that league had in front of it with Caitlin Clark, and they completely crapped all over. The sport loses $40 million annually. The league. Those aren't fake numbers. And these players are walking around like they're going to lock out and not play. I don't understand. I don't understand how that's even a mindset. Well, yeah, I do understand how it's a mindset. It goes back to what we talked about earlier in the first hour. But you have to have a little bit of, here we go again, that hyphenated word, self-awareness. Ann Myers, part of UCLA's national championship team. Before it was an NCAA championship. Women's basketball didn't have, I want to say it was AIWA, something like that. Annie Myers was the most popular or considered the world's best women's basketball player when she was at UCLA. So much so that she got a tryout with I believe it was the Indiana Pacers back in the day. Then she got into coaching. And, of course, she didn't do very well in the training camp for the Pacers. I don't know if it was a legitimate thing, publicity stunt, probably so. But coming out of college before Caitlin Clark, she was probably the biggest thing, and she had an international following. But nobody was bigger than Ann Myers. And Caitlin Clark was a megastar. She was such a big star, Nike signed her to a deal for $30 million a year for her shoe line. You think that ever been done with a women's basketball player before? No. But to not have the self-awareness to understand that it's great that you have a league, and I'm all for them having a league to be able to continue their careers. But you have to understand, oh, my goodness, we're losing money hand over fist here. And to have this entitlement thrust upon you and immediately go out and promote your league to go beat the hell out of and to tear down the most popular player. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the first year she got into the league, and I don't even know what team she plays for. Is it Indiana? Is it the Fever? She had the second or third highest jersey sales of any athlete in any sport. Right? 2 years ago, or whenever her rookie year was, when they started selling her jersey, they did the pictorial of her with her Indiana Fever jersey on. I mean, her jersey was right up there with Mahomes. Yes, she's the most popular female, maybe even athlete that we've come on to the horizon. And it was great because it inspired young girls everywhere. It did inspire young kids to try to be like her. And then she gets to the league. The league doesn't support her. Coaches around the league are trying to hurt her. Players are trying to hurt her. They're jealous. They call it a racial thing. They created all these sideshows and tried to destroy her before she could really get her career started. Now she's had, at least 2 major injuries. She missed almost all of last season. And a lot of it's because of the way teams are allowed to play her in the league. Whereas you had the star system, right, for years in the NBA. Everybody used to say Jordan got protected by the officials and got all the calls, big stars during the mid to late 80s and in the 90s, right? There's no star system in the WNBA. No, they decided to go ahead and just beat the hell out of her. And every one of you are right in chat. Football at these schools is the only sport that stirs the drink. Correct. You have 2 sports at Virginia Tech that make money. 2. Football and men's basketball. Nothing else. The year Tech went to the Final Four in women's basketball, they lost money. All the great years when they were hosting super regionals for baseball, for Coach Sheff, and it was a softball team, they lost money. There's only about a dozen baseball teams in the country that produce any kind of revenue. And I don't know the numbers softball-wise. But any of it, great conversation as always in our chat. Joining us now on the program, it's always a great conversation, is Brian Seigla from the Boundary Corner. What's up, Brian? How are you?
Hey, Rick, how you doing this morning?
Doing okay, man. Hope you are. Let's get you involved in the conversation. Can you remember in the history of your sports fandom growing up to where you are now, a bigger female athlete coming out of college with an opportunity to do something special than Caitlin Clark at Iowa and what she meant to women's college basketball? I can't.
I cannot as well, just thinking off the top. I feel like there wasn't – I think everything kind of happened at the right moment with that too. Like the women's game in general was growing, especially when you look at the collegiate game and the buzz around that. There was a lot of that the run that she had there was a lot of higher profile stars in NCAA women's basketball than there had been in a while, and she was at the top of that. And I feel like she's done a pretty good job riding that wave into the WNBA. I can't really think of anyone bigger. I mean, even within that time frame that seemed like a pinnacle, she was at the top of the heap there. So, and
we're not even talking about comparable players talent-wise. I know there's been a lot of really great women.
Oh, players. Yeah. We're talking about buzz. We're talking about
marketing,
hype. We're talking about
buzz.
All that. Yeah.
I mean, she got a $30 million a year deal from Nike, for God's sakes. Nobody else has done that. And that tells you all you need to know. Yeah. And yet the league went out of its way to beat the hell out of her. Now she, can't stay healthy. But anyway. So you guys, you had your Let's Assess Everything podcast, I understand, correct?
We did, yeah. We talked about kind of where things landed at the end of the transfer portal. We talked about that schedule. I know we discussed it briefly last week. And then, we talked a little bit about kind of where each it wasn't really like going depth chart wise and saying these are going to be the starters. This is going to be the depth and thing, but just looking at each room and like kind of giving a confidence level 1 to 10, kind of where we're feeling after the transfer portal. I think it was a good exercise. I think we mostly feel pretty good about where we are with a couple of exceptions. I think some of us would have liked to seen another safety get brought in. I know there was a lot of shuffling with the staff towards the end of that, and I don't know if that contributed to not getting another safety in the building. And I think a few of us would have liked to see maybe another guard get pulled in on that offensive line. But I think for the most part, people are feeling pretty good about where the Hokies stand heading into the 2026. I'm sure we'll learn more as we get into the spring practices opening up in a little bit here, and obviously winter workouts going on right now. You're starting to see some of that competition in those, and some of the drops that the program's letting out the bag there. But I don't know. I think it's probably it's a roster that could probably win you 8 games if things go the way you want it to. But obviously injuries and things like that are a big variable that we can't really account for yet.
Well, and it was cool yesterday. Todd Grantham, he's at UAB. Ted gets behind the scenes of what goes on. So it kind of gave, I think, Tech fans kind of an insight. You mentioned the workouts, and this is really important, although you can't do one-on-one things and you can't really coach them per se. But this is when, in the age of the portal, I think this time becomes even more important than it ever has before. Used to be incoming freshmen, try to get them enrolled early, right? Get them in, whatever it might be, get them in by the spring, right? Get them in over the summer, get ready.
Yep.
Now it's get the portal guys in now, because you have to start creating continuity, fluidity with all these personalities, all the different money amounts these guys are making. This is a new challenge to coaching staffs across the country, right, that we're evolving into in the portal area. It's a very important time.
Yeah, and when you're talking about, the quarterback position is always to some degree going to be a leader on the offensive side of the ball, and you're talking about a redshirt sophomore that's transferring in from somewhere else, getting him in the building, getting him acclimated to that, knowing that he's going to have a pretty big leadership role as a younger athlete on the team. That's invaluable. Because you got to set that expectation and get really those personalities to a point where it's symbiotic, right? Where they're kind of working with each other in a way that makes the whole better than the individual.
Yeah. What part of the team excited you guys the most? What was the dominant vote? What was it that really came across that all of you felt really best about in terms of the new squad makeup?
When we were talking about it, we really liked what was done in the cornerback room, because when you look at last year, especially after Dante Lovett entered the transfer portal when Pry got fired, that was probably the overall weakest unit on the defense. Just depth-wise, everything else. And now with what they've been able to do in the transfer portal, I feel like they've done a really good job of making that room one of the strengths of the defense. Whereas, when we closed out the end of last year, it was probably definitely the weakest unit on the team. So that was the room that probably impressed me the most. When we flip it over to the other side of the ball, wide receiver it's unproven, but as talent rich as we've ever had. I guess would probably be the best way to describe it. Like we've got 4 stars all over the place. You got Quayshawn Brown coming in. A lot of production at Duke. You got Aiden Green coming back. You got young 4-star talent all over the place that's looking to step into a bigger role this year. I think that's going to be a really big thing to watch.
My biggest thing I want to see, I know they brought in some people, and we had Phil Omation on, and he loves the way some of these offensive linemen look. But let's see if they can find 5 guys that are going to be a cohesive unit. And you know it, Brian, how many times we talk about it? Where has this thing begun and ended for Tech? Because their offensive line hasn't been good. It hasn't been solid enough. It's had moments, certain games, but it hasn't held up the last several seasons. To me, that's going to be the most integral thing about all those really good-looking dudes they brought in together. Can they find 5 guys and then the correct depth behind them to keep that thing upright, to keep Gruntmeyer upright so the offense can flow and start to get everybody integrated,
Yeah, that's very important. And, if you can't block, you can't do anything else on offense.
Can't do anything, right?
It's just that's just the end of the things here. So if you're not winning the trenches, none of the rest really matters. I like what we did on the offensive line. Like I was saying earlier, I think, maybe bringing in another guard to push some of those established guys inside would have been preferable, but I like, Howland, I think, is going to immediately slot in at left. We'll see if Johnny ends up at right, or one of the new guys that's coming in. Maybe the Ohio State kid might push him at right. I think that immediately gives you at least a level up, because now you've got 7, maybe 8 guys that have had significant experience that you trust at least to a point to go into the game. Now, I don't know what those guards are going to look like, because we've got 3 that have had some playing time, but none have really kind of stuck in a way that you feel really great about. And then you got Al Tuner holding down center, and that was probably the biggest success on the line last year. So I feel pretty good about that, especially with Troutman coming over to play behind him, at least for this year. So I like where we're at. Probably tackle and center, questionable at guard, just because is Brody Meadows going to level this unit up now that he's healthy? I don't know, but we'll see. And we haven't seen enough of Brody in the last 2 years to really gauge what that looks like.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, you've got to have that success, and obviously running the football has been paramount in James Franklin's history. That's what he wants to do. It's a lot, Coach Beamer, we can't run the football. Nothing we did here was going to work, right? So that was the focus when he got there. And it's the same thing with James Franklin. So I'm sure that's why he hit that so hard early, was to get those types of guys in there that can get in there immediately and start to find that unit. I think Dwight Vick talk, Dwight better than anybody. He talks about it all the time. People they underestimate how important it is that offensive linemen come together, like a quarterback getting used to his receivers, right, and getting the timing down. Well, linemen have to do that too, and he used to talk about that. He was the captain of that line, and he'd bring them together, and they would go over snap counts and go over cadences and what certain looks were going to be when and I think people kind of forget that. And I know that's something now that you can kind of work on, right? And that's why it's so pivotal.
Yeah, I don't think people understand the amount of communication that goes on almost every single snap between an offensive line.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you're gonna find your mic. Where's your mic? Where's my linebackers? Is anyone showing blitz? Did they slide? What are we doing? Are we checking to a different protection because they slid? Like, there's so many different things that you're doing pre-snap as an offensive line from a communication standpoint to make sure that blocks are picked up, blitzes are picked up, like everything that you need to do to take care of your quarterback, your running back, and make sure those wide receivers have time to get open. All that happens really quickly in like a 5-second time frame before the snap.
Yeah, just watch on Sunday, this coming Sunday. Watch how many times you see the center turning, pouring, and the guards get up to tackle, everybody looking around. Yeah, I mean, it's so prominent now, and that's what they're doing. They're reminding themselves of the things that they've gone over. So, and I'm also curious to see, we won't hear as much, but how's everybody else in the league? Everything's new, and this is what makes it's frustrating and also exciting if you're a college football fan, because you can't go into, like, I think about guys like Phil Steele who do this for a living, and they're trying to, do these prognosis. I don't know how you do that. He has to start now when guys are there instead of starting during the season like he used to. And I don't know what the league's going to look like yet. And I think that's an advantage too for James Franklin and Tech, right? Because everybody lost somebody. There's new coaches, there's new players everywhere. And this whole big chemistry experiment, this is the time of year. Who does it the best heading into spring,
Yeah, it's like playing Yahtzee with a roster, right? Like, you just shake it up and let's see what happens. All right, well, this team might slot in here. This team might slot in here. And you never really know, because, you got situations where, you're a Florida State, right? And you shuffled them pretty good one year and made a deep run. And then the next 2 years you shuffled them big again, and you haven't really seen a whole lot of outcome from it. So, there's a lot of different ways that it can go. And, you look at a Texas Tech who did the same thing and made a deep run. They've got, a big fat wallet down there that enabled them to do some big things this year. So, but if the chemistry doesn't meld and you don't have the right coaches in place and you don't have the right mix of mix of talent and mix of guys that want to do it the right way, then some of that's not going to matter. It's all about the buy-in and making sure that everyone's kind of rowing in the same direction.
Question for you here from Prometheus, Brian. What was the take on the defensive line? What'd you think about that?
We felt pretty good about it, especially after the pivot to Sammy Sachs out there in Colorado after the Cam Morgan academic approval snafu. I think some of us would like to maybe get one more D tackle in there, but I think overall we feel pretty good about the combination of the portal guys that we got coming in, and especially at D tackle, the guys we got coming back like Laws, and those guys, Copeland.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see with the coaching change there too, how that affects things. I think they're really going to miss J.C. Price. I really believe that. I think he's an outstanding coach that I think maybe people take for granted. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see. What's coming up this week on the podcast? What are you guys doing?
This week we got a little week off. We're taking some breaks. We're starting to line up some interviews and some other off-season episodes, more like concept episodes that we'll put out over the course of the next month and a half until really spring practice starts dialing back up and we got a little bit more actual football to talk about. So look for an announcement probably coming into this week, beginning of next week, as far as what that lineup's going to look like for the next 5 to 6 weeks.
All right, beautiful, man. Well, we can't wait. You guys do a great job, Boundary Corner, man, and appreciate you as always for joining us here on the program. We'll do it again next week.
Awesome, Rick. Really appreciate it. Always a fun time to kick it with you.
All right, brother. Tell Shut I said hey.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Great job, Brian Seigla. Love Brian. They do a great job. They have so much fun. They do a great job. Mike Burnop comes up. We'll talk a little tech hoops a little bit and see what's going on. Talk about this big these next 2 games I think are gigantic to Tech's immediate NCAA future. I really do. So we'll see how that goes. All right, when I take the headphones off, I've got animal issues. I'll be right back. Hang on. All right. You know how in sports we use the term gamers? Like if you might be hurt or you may not be feeling great, shows up for game day, gives you a great. I know you probably get tired of hearing about the show mascot, but Boa Creed is a gamer, man. He gets out there and he does his thing. And he tries to fight through the ice and the snow and the cold, and he'll stay out long enough, and he finally has to go. I got to come out, coach. I got to come out, man. It's kind of like me when I finally went to the doctor. I'm beaten. I got to go get some antibiotics. By the way, I want to give him some props. The Velocity Care, urgent care unit over there on 114, outstanding. They were great. Got to give them their props. They were outstanding. My only hesitation with the new defensive line coach is he was asked to leave Texas A&M. And I don't know if that was just something that he and Mike Elko finally butted heads too much. I don't know. Maybe he just needs a new venue. Maybe what he was teaching grew a little stagnant down there. I don't know the evaluation that they use down there. But Elko, too, is a very defensive-minded coach, right? He was a defensive coordinator for years. Now, that Creed sounds like a dog. Yeah, that's the neighbor dog. Yeah. And it's only known me for about 7 years, yet it still barks at me like I'm not someone it's ever seen before. Wayne says you were getting so hoarse, I thought you had to go to a vet. Bad joke. Yeah, and I appreciate everybody for putting up with me. I know I sounded terrible. I was trying to be a gamer. I think I was those 3 days. I wasn't feeling good, and I tried not to cough. And I hope it wasn't terrible. But we're back. I think we're finally heading through the other side now. So, yeah, I like that one, Wayne. But I can't say enough for over there at the if you're in a bind, you go into Velocity Care over there. If you just need to go somewhere quickly, urgent care. I mean, they were packed too because everybody was, and they weren't rude. They got me in quickly. But I didn't sit there 3 minutes. They took me back. I don't know any of the people. I'm just trying to tell you, just like I do with the great sponsors we have here on the show, trying to tell you about the good things. If you're in a bind and you're in the NRV and you need some attention, you could do a lot worse than those folks. They were really, really cool. Really, really cool. And I'm not getting a dime out of promoting them. I'm just telling you, I was very impressed because I hate going places like that. Like all of us, nobody likes going to the doctor. It's the worst thing in the world, especially when you get a little older. Oh, sorry there, Mr. Watson. We see you've grown yeah. What? I wouldn't have known that was there until you told me. I want to thank Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel, 4377 Lee Highway. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, thanks to James Lawson, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg, 540-381-8011. And the NRV Super Bowl is going to be having the games on TVs all across the bowling alley. You should go spend your Super Bowl Sunday with the game and bowl with your buddies. They got a great deal, $100, pizza, shoes, and you can have the game on. That's cool. That's cool. So thanks to the NRB Super Bowl. Call them up. Make your reservations for the weekend, 382-5525. Why not? If you don't have a favorite team, you can go at the Super Bowl and have a great time. That's awesome. Rick's rant. It's funny you say that, TLB. The first in the first edition of the show, I did do that. But I think it came across, even though it wasn't, I believe it came across as kind of too choreographed. People always talk about my rants. I don't plan any of this stuff. Like, if something bothers me, you get it real at the moment. And for me, that's the way I need to operate. I did try it, what you said. I used to try to okay, it's time now for Rick to sound off. Yeah, we need more sponsors. There's no question. But I promise you, when I do start getting loud and opinionated, it's not planned. And I hope that comes across. It's not. It just happens. I want to thank Bob Chris, the Ready Set Fund, for supporting the program, ReadySetFund.com. Bob Chris, CRIST11 at Gmail. They helped raise, going into the spring sports here soon. I know it doesn't feel like it now with Hoth happening outside. I'm sure the snow beast will be showing up, taking us all, hanging us upside down in the caves pretty soon. And if you don't have a lightsaber to cut yourself out and you don't have the force, you might be in trouble, buddy. They helped Floyd County girls, the softball team, raise $4,000. Travis Williams, the best, residential commercial garage doors. Professional Door Incorporated, 38 years in business, sponsor of our text line, which never stops binging during the day. It's great. It's great. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of BDST here on YouTube, my exclusive banking partner for 35 years, the attorney Ryan Pry, down in Radford, 701 West Main Street. He specializes in trust and estate planning. Our BDST fan question of the week. And it's pretty simple this week. Who's going to win the football game on Sunday? Right now, it's about 50-50. It's interesting. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. They are the best, and they're getting a call. I had one of my viewers yesterday say they're going to give them a call, asking me about them. Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment is the presenting sponsor of this program, thanks to Jonathan Sweet, Tim Miller. McClellan Chiropractic, Mark Hunley, right off of Walters Drive, 155 over on Pippers Ferry Road. Sponsor of our chat room. And, of course, Family Fencing, Jason Green and the gang. Oh, no, we're going to have to hear about all this Raiders propaganda coming up from Jason. Get a free quote today, 540-200-8294, familyfencingnrv.com. They hired the right coach. They're getting ready to get the quarterback. Here we go. Here we go. Rick's Rant, sponsored by Morris. I like that. No, I don't want the power to go out. We can all go. Let's go to the NRV Super Bowl to celebrate the Super Bowl. I mean, that is a natural marketing opportunity right there, right? By the way, once again, for the month of January, we exceeded all of our views and our rewatches. Thank you so much. We need to get the subscription base up, but the channel is very healthy with the show. Please subscribe, like, and share. We're averaging anywhere from 600 to 800 views a show, which is incredible. And about 70% of those are rewatches throughout the day. YouTube is thrilled. Thank you so much for that. We're reaching a wider audience. It's great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't want the power to go out. I'd rather the power stay on and I can end up going on a movie binge and watch something else. Don't want the power to go out. Because when the power goes out here, it takes a little while. Well, the reason the program is a success is because of all you. And I appreciate everybody who's frequented our sponsors, who's called, who's inquired. I know many of them have seen immediate dividends. Prometheus says, as a Raider lifer, I'll never act like we're back. I know, but boy, you got it now. You can't screw this up, Prometheus. I think Clint Kubiak, a lot like his dad, outstanding choice. And you're going to pair him up with, I think, the only quarterback coming out of this draft that, at least going into it, that anybody can get excited about. I think Fernando Mendoza is going to be a star. I really do. And you put him with Kubiak. I mean, I love that whole concept, man. You got an offensive guru, play caller, developer, getting with your quarterback day one. It's just so smart. It shouldn't take the Raiders long. You got the great tight end out of Georgia. You got a good running back now, the kid out of Boise State. Probably need some more receiving help. But, man, I'll tell you what. You got a chance. You got a chance as a Raider fan to get back to prominence very quickly. And, look, I'll say it as a Broncos lifer, and we hate each other, our teams. The league is better when the Raiders are prominent. When the silver and black means something, the league is better. And it's been a long time since they've meant something. Now, the whole villainy and all that, I think, went away when Al Davis passed away. You don't have that whole aura of a bunch of refugees, right? Refugees that were taken off of other teams. Guys that were told they couldn't play anywhere else, so you come here to Oakland at the time, and we'll make you into all pros and, us against the world. But the league is better when the Raiders are good. I mean, it just is. It's been too long. It's been too long. And, they obviously have to do the right things around Kubiak and Mendoza. He's a very young guy. He's never been a head coach. So hopefully he is allowed to develop as well. But he's going to have a very mature quarterback coming into his dojo. And I think it's going to be a good relationship from day one. I'll be very surprised if Fernando Mendoza is not a star in the NFL. Very surprised. And I don't know when I felt that way about a quarterback. I mean, even the guys last year, I'm still not sold on Cam Ward. 2 years ago, it was a better class with Drake May and with Jalen Daniels, who can't stay healthy, Caleb Williams. Those guys were top heavy. I'm trying to think, quarterback-wise, it's come out of college. Who's been a guy that you think is going to be a sure thing? Well, seems like Mendoza's that guy. We'll see. And he could not be. He could come in and the league could just completely riddle him and him not work. But I don't know. He didn't seem to be that guy. Yeah, that's right, Wayne. They are. Especially the Cowboys. The Cowboys have been insignificant since 94. And this is the richest sports team in all the world. The one that's worth the most. You talk about all the international soccer professional leagues, whatever it might be, the Dallas Cowboys are the most recognized, expensive professional sports team in the world, and they haven't been prominent for 30 years in the league. They've had some decent seasons. They've shown up in the playoffs from time to time, but they have not been that team since Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin and all those guys walked out of the building. They were so good that Barry Switzer won a damn Super Bowl. Andrew Luck was the last for me. Yeah, you kind of knew Luck. That's a good point. That's a good comparison for me. Yeah, Luck, especially when you watched him play against Tech and you watched his last year, yeah, you knew he was going to be a guy. It was good yesterday to hear, and then David Smith's going to be on Thursday, but it was good to hear Todd like the Dolphins hire of Jeff Hafley. He thinks Hafley's going to be a good fit for them. But the Dolphins have to fix their horrible uniforms. Uniform police guy believes that you lose your identity so much. And I don't know why the Dolphins ever switched. Every year it's talked about how great their throwbacks are. And everybody wants them back and how many they sell. Yet they go back to this new horrible logo and that new agua teal color that's not the same. We know about the Redskins / Commanders, how horrible that rebrand has been. Tennessee has the worst uniform in the NFL now. The Falcons are finally getting rid of their heart. You gotta think about how you're gonna look too. You gotta look the part. Nah, meds are good. Meds are good. Although I do know when I do talk more, I do end up coughing. Jeff says, Rick, why are you beating me up? Team has been the Cowboys. Look, my mom was a Cowboys lifer. The league's better when they're good. Sorry, Jeff. I don't know why. It's strange. I guess we do know. Jerry Jones gets a lot of it. But think about the Cowboys. They just haven't been good, and you don't really understand why. The fish rots from the head, and usually when organizations struggle, it's because of the top, and they haven't had good – have they had good head coaches there during this time? Yeah, I don't think Thurman Thomas gets enough respect. Yeah, he was a really strong running back. Unfortunately, those whole Bills teams, they don't get enough credit. What they did is an incredible accomplishment. It'll never be done again to go to 4 straight Super Bowls. The problem is they were only competitive in one of them. And if Norwood's kick is good, then we're not thinking of the Bills at all in the same way that we do now. Right? Yeah, who during that time, Jeff, has been the Cowboys' best coach? Mike McCarthy? Yeah, but you're right. I mean, people recognize how good Thurman Thomas was, but he's not part of the conversation like he should be. I agree with that 100%. Absolutely. 100%. I agree with that. But the Cowboys being bad doesn't make a lot of sense, or being mediocre for so long. It just shows you that, Jerry Jones struck gold, well, literally, because what he bought that team for and what they're worth now has to be one of the greatest investments in the history of business. He had the clumsy way he handled the departure of Tom Landry. Then he brought in his buddy that ended up being the right mix. They pulled off the Herschel Walker trade, and it was just get out of the way. But it didn't last long because of ego. He ran his buddy out, Jimmy Johnson, turned it over to Barry Switzer, who didn't have to do anything but go in and just say, okay, guys, go play. And they won the Super Bowl against Pittsburgh. Neil O'Donnell, who threw two of the most worthless, pointless passes ever that were intercepted by Larry Brown, made Larry Brown, who never had another good season, into a Super Bowl MVP. And I think that's what it is, Jeff. Jerry Jones never wanted the limelight to be on the coach. He always wanted it to be on him. Always wanted it to be on him. Yeah, and that's true. Yeah, Cowboys have had good quarterbacks. They can't blame it on not having good quarterbacks. I mean, Dak Prescott is a terrific NFL quarterback. They had Tony Romo, who was a good NFL quarterback. I don't know, Rick. I never won the big one, Rick. Remember when I fumbled the snap on the extra point or the field goal, whatever it was, Rick? But the Raiders, it's right there. I mean, this is a layup for them to get their organization turned around. They've done the first thing they needed to do. They hired, I think, the right coach. And Todd Grantham has said it how many times, right? In the NFL, if you're in need of a quarterback, you hire a defensive coach. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you're in need of a quarterback and you got a young offensive mind and he wants to go out and make it so that this guy is going to be our guy, well, that's what you do. And I think Kubiak will be smart enough to surround himself with enough people defensively and everything. So, yeah. I want to feel about that league the way I used to, and I don't know if I ever will again, the NFL, knowing what it stands for, knowing what it's trying to do with taking away from the American fans. They're very proud to be standing where they're standing politically, and I don't understand how they're ignoring so much of their fan base. I don't think any business should do that. I don't think it makes sense. But they're always going to point to the numbers, because even the people that disagree with them, you can't stop watching football. It is our national pastime, probably to the point that it exceeds even when baseball became the biggest thing this country had ever seen during the Depression era, into the World Wars and beyond. Football has replaced that 100 times over. People cannot get enough of football. And they ignore everything else as long as they can watch their games. And it goes back. See how everything comes full circle? It goes back to our conversation. You as college football fans that support Tech, UVA, wherever, how much more are you going to absorb with everything, the mess we have with the NIL and how horrible the portal is, and how every roster now is 1 year at a time, How much more are you going to be able to regenerate yourself? And it's just up to you. There's no wrong answer. It's up to you, your individual choice. And that's what I think is becoming harder about the NFL for me. I won't buy any more merch. I don't have any desire necessarily, unless somebody gives me a ticket. I'm not going to go spend hundreds of dollars to go. Broncos play in Carolina next year, and I've seen them play 8 times in person. Would never pass up the opportunity to go see them play. And now I'm just like, I can just stay at home, save a lot of money, and watch it. It'll be on here. Yeah, I do too. I wish sports would just get the hell away, just like everything else. Stay away from politics. Let politics destroy itself and let it stand for on its own. We don't need to hear about it, and we don't want to hear about it. But yet they can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. And this goes back to what I talked about yesterday. It's the downfall of mankind. Politics is the downfall of mankind. When we stop treating each other as fellow human beings and immediately labeled one another as opponents because we may disagree on things. And therefore, you can't have progress as a society. And therefore, you point a finger here, you point a finger there, and all of a sudden, this country's terrible. And the media has stoked the flame. The brainwashing is evident, and it's there. It's there. That's funny, TLB. My dad was a marble player. Yeah. Shooting marbles. As a matter of fact, I'll have to bring it. I have one of my dad's shooters still. Yeah, playing marbles. And I used to do it too. Put out the circle. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I still have a lot of those old marbles in my dad's in like a Coke bottle, one of those banks. One of those Coke bottle banks. Absolutely loved marbles. Yeah. Simple times, right? You go to your kids and you start talking about marbles. Like, how deprived were you? Sitting down with their online. Hey, there's a new game that I want. Hey, I just downloaded it in 22 seconds. Now I'm playing with 10 of my friends online. All right, here we go. I'm going to make sure I knock that cat's eye right out of the circle. Yeah! Marbles! I had a bag of marbles on. Yeah. And how cool was it? You go to Hill's department store, one of these stores, Prometheus, DLB. And remember, you could get the little bags of marbles? Yeah. I used to always say, hey, I want some marbles. And I always liked the cat's eyes the best, the clear ones that had the little color patterns in them. One of the things on Instagram, which I know nothing about, is they have marble races. It's really cool. There's different sites. You can watch marbles go through all these things. Wayne says he would recreate Baba Black Sheep with marbles. That's cool. Blue US versus red. Oh, that's cool. See, that's imagination, man. I love that. Just made up your own thing. That's so cool. Rodney says, I was marble champ in elementary school. Do you know what I won in elementary school? You know what I was good at? In 5th grade. Jacks. You remember jacks? When you had the little silver triangles and you'd throw them down on the ground, and then you had the ball and you had to pick up the different numbers. Remember jacks? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was my thing. I beat Krista Davis, as a matter of fact, in the finals in my 5th grade elementary school class. Oh, paper football goes without question. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, joining us now on the program, I guarantee you Mike Burnop remembers jacks. You remember jacks, Mike? We're talking about marbles and jacks.
Heck yeah. Absolutely. Spin those things. Yeah. I remember. Yeah, they were fun.
They were fun. Mike Burnop joining us on the program, brought to you by Louise Baker Team, Long and Foster. Well, first of all, Mike, I hope you're warming up a little bit. How is it around your place now with all the, I know you have a wilderness around there in the woods. How's it thawing out a little bit?
A little bit. It was amazing, though. I had, I guess it was yesterday morning, Sunday morning. I forget which. I went out and looked out my front door, and there was 2 deer on the front porch trying to eat the dead plants. And I thought, well, they couldn't get much closer to walking in. So that was pretty funny. And then I got icicles at the office that are hanging from the top of the building where the overhang is all the way almost to the ground. They were it must be 7 feet tall.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Pretty. I saw that picture of the cascade somebody put out on X, and it was that was pretty phenomenal too. But yeah, the hood's pretty cleared. The roads are okay. They did a nice job scraping. Too good, as a matter of fact, because it messed up my sleigh riding.
You couldn't sleigh ride because they did too good of a job on the road?
Well, I gave it a shot. Sunday morning. Got up early and got out there and got one run down the hill, but there was gravel and salt. I guess they put this mixture down and just kind of slowed me down. Kind of made me angry, but VDOT was just too efficient.
They did their job too well.
Yeah, they sure did. Oh, gosh. But it was fun. Had a good time.
Well, let's go back to Saturday. Duke came to town. They're really good. This just in, huh? The Boozers are really good. What were some of your thoughts about the way Tech played? They made a couple of decent pushes in the second half, but just didn't quite have enough.
Well, they got really behind in the first half, down 16, I think, at one point, and just couldn't get a shot to fall and whatnot. And then, they did get a run in there right before the half and cut it to 9, but Duke shot 62%, I think, in the first half, Rick. I mean, they couldn't stop them. Boozer was as good as advertised, Cameron, and that team could win it all. There's no doubt. They lost one game to Texas Tech by 1 point, and in that game, I think it was at Madison Square Garden, they missed 12 free throws, so they could be undefeated easily. And, and in the second half, the Tech team, Hokies played a lot better. Defense was better. I think they only shot 44%, I think, in the second half. And the Hokies cut it to 6 with about 6 minutes left, but then Duke went on the run, and they didn't score. The Hokies didn't until less than a minute left, and it was like 11-2 run or something like that, 10-2, and Boozer had 9 of the 10 for 11 points. So they couldn't stop him. He was phenomenal. If you double team him, he passes. He can create a shot. He made a 3. I mean, the guy's an incredible player. And it was a great atmosphere, sold out. But they're as good as advertised, and it was going to take a near perfect game to beat them. And some guys didn't play very well. Neo missed a bunch of shots. I think he was like 1 for 8. Toby, I think, only had like 4 points. So, yeah, it was tough. You got to have everybody contributing and to beat a team like that, and you got to play really well. And Duke would have had to play a little bit of a poorer game, and they didn't. And so you give them credit. They're good.
You've seen most of the top teams in the league. It sounds like the separation between Duke and Louisville and UVA is pretty prominent, is it? Feels like that.
Yeah, I think so. I think when the chips are down, I'd put my money on Duke for sure. They handled Louisville easily. And, I looked at Carolina, watched them last night play Syracuse. They were up 32 points. And I'll be daggone if Syracuse didn't cut it to 6 or something late in that game. And they were like, man, we want to get to this Kansas game. Let's hurry up, finish this thing up. And they had to keep it on that game. They cut it to 6 points, and they ended up winning by 10. I mean, Carolina's got a lot of talent, but, God, they just – sometimes you shake your head like, what in the world is going on with that team? They're just they'll lose a game or something, and you just scratch your head with all that talent. So they're good. Louisville's good. We haven't seen in person yet NC State and Clemson, which we'll see the next 2 games coming up because we've got NC State on the road Saturday, and then we turn around and go back to Clemson on the next Wednesday. So, yeah, there's still some teams that we haven't seen at least in person, and you got to go play at Miami too. So there's another team having a good year. And so we'll see. I think the league's much better, though, this year for sure.
Mike Burnop joining us on the program, presented by Louise Baker, the Louise Baker Team Long and Foster Realtors. Well, let's talk about Avidalis a little bit. People here talking about his struggles. What was he, 1 of 8? Continues to kind of hit the wall. What have you noticed? What have you heard Coach Young say? Is this something they just feel like certainly he's going to work through, or is there something legitimate there to where with the injuries they've had, they can't really take the time to let him watch for a little bit, right? They've needed him on the floor the whole time.
Yeah, and I think Tyler Johnson's going to be ready to go this week, which will certainly help. He's missed 9 or 10, I forget, straight games.
Wow.
So that's been a little bit of a problem, but he's supposed to be back this week, barring any setbacks. He was going to go full tilt during practice this week and get ready for state. But, yeah, Neo has struggled shooting the ball for sure. He had too many turnovers the other day. You know, the guys are trying to keep him up and focused. You know, the pressure on him is pretty immense. When you look at some of the other freshmen around the country, and he thought he'd be a one-and-done kid. And you look at some of these other guys that are freshmen and the class that's pretty outstanding when you look at some of these guys across the board. It's going to be a good NBA draft. And I don't know if the pressure's getting to him or, you know, it's just he's trying to weigh too much of the burden. I don't know. But he hadn't been himself. You know, the thing about it is we know what he can do. He had 2 games over 30, right? I mean, the guy can play and score and pass, but he's in a little bit of a rut now. That's what Coach kind of called it after the Georgia Tech game. And so we'll see if he can kind of work his way out of it. It's been frustrating. He finally just sat him down the last part of the game because he had a couple untimely turnovers and missed some shots. And, you know how good he is, but he hadn't been playing well, that's for sure.
Yeah, and they need him to pick it up. And like you said, getting Johnson back is going to be huge, Mike. It's not an excuse. I mean, look how long this team's had to go without having all of its elements in place, you know. And they've fought through and they've won some close games and they've never stopped playing hard. I know people get frustrated at losing games like that, but really it's a credit to the staff for keeping this team as together as they have been. I can't remember a Tech team or any basketball team having this many injuries to deal with throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, I know when you think back, and Toby went out before Thanksgiving. You know, he played in that one game down in the Bahamas and played a few minutes in the second game, and he was done for, gosh, a long, long time. And then obviously you know, Tyler gets hurt, and so at the UVA game, which was New Year's Eve. And so, yeah, it's been a long haul, and everybody deals with injuries at some point, and I guess maybe it's better that you deal with them early than late. But the problem is, you know, you're sitting there with 16 wins and, you know, you only got like, I think 3 home games left. And so you've lost 2 at home, which means you got to steal some on the road, right? And you look at that road game set up and it's not going to be easy when you got South Carolina or not. I mean, you got North Carolina State and you got Clemson and you got Miami and you got Carolina, you got to play on the road. I mean, it's not going to be easy to get that win total up. So those early games that they lost by 1, 2, 3 points, you know, they could come back and haunt them.
Feels big, doesn't it, to have this week off to get ready for Saturday? Because you're right, these next 2 road games are the NC State Clemson games could define their season for a while, right? These are huge road games coming up.
Yeah, and they're both good teams.
Yeah,
and they're both good at home. So yeah, I think NC State's playing much better and they're getting healthy. And you know, Clemson's always tough down there. They've had a good team, so yeah, it's not going to be easy for any stretch. But it's good for the ACC to have these good games that are meaningful and people watch. But you definitely got to try to steal some on the road for sure.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Well, Mike, we're in that mode of you can't really work with the football team, but they certainly can work out and get acclimated with one another, especially now in the age of the portal. This is a very important time, especially when you have new coach James Franklin, new coaching staff, all these new players. I mean, it's different, but you need guys here now, right? And you got to start making this a team right now with all the guys coming in from different places and all the different amounts of money being made, right? This is where your bread is buttered right now.
Yeah, it is. And this is where you find out, you know, who the leaders are, who's going to step up and take that next step, and guys you can depend on during these winter workouts. And they'll get into their Hunger Games here a little bit later. I think pretty much now they've been concentrating on lifting and running a little bit. And coaches have been out recruiting. You know, that was a live period there until this past weekend. So they had a big junior weekend that I think went extremely well. And so, yeah, it's getting closer and closer. And, they'll get more work in, and then spring practice will be right around the corner. I mean, we're already in the first part of February. The spring game, of course, is in April 18th. So, yeah, it's coming quick. And I know they're excited to get those guys outside, to get them on the field and see what we got. You know, it's going to take some time to get that chemistry built and see who can play at what position and get this thing squared away. So I know they're looking forward to that. And they're going to have a press conference tomorrow, Rick, I think at 11 o'clock, and just try to just give an update on everything that's going on. So that should be a good one, too.
Yeah, I think, is that going to be also an access for the local media, finally get to talk to them a little bit and get to
I think so, yeah. I think that's the word I heard. It hadn't been officially announced, at least that I have seen yet. I guess maybe they'll do it today, but I think it's scheduled for 11 o'clock tomorrow. So I think they're doing a lot of different stuff, picture day, and with some of the staff, because there's so many new staff members, and they all been, out recruiting or here, there, and everywhere and trying to get settled. So
yeah,
they kind of got a day that they can kind of breathe a little bit.
Well, that'll be good, and that'll help people kind of get a visual of some of the names that they've seen and all these things, right? Because and it's great to see the kind of talent and what you assume is going to be great talent coming together. But man, it's so different, and you know this better than anybody across the country. No matter what coach you're talking about, it's changed so much, and we don't know how anybody else in the league is going to look. It's just. Used to be about getting the high schoolers here, right? Getting them on campus for the summer and getting them worked out. Now it's about making sure these portal guys are here in January. It's just that's where we are.
It's a different world. There's no doubt about it. And I was talking to the Duke people, David Shoemate, and talking to him a little bit at the Minshaw situation, that quarterback situation. And, he said he's a good kid, but it's one of those things, the money out there that Miami was offering. And, it was like he didn't want to stay at Duke. He wanted to go and make more money, right? So he departs, goes down there. And I mean, it's just a crazy world we're living in right now. And I asked him, I said, well, do you have any idea what you're hearing, how much money he was offered from Miami? And he said it was in the upper millions, like 7, 8, 9 million. I mean, it's ridiculous. I said, how does Miami afford that? When you think about it.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know what Duke was paying him. He didn't say. But I mean, you can't hardly blame the kid if they're throwing that kind of money at him, and let the lawyers handle it, right? It's just
sure.
Let them handle it. Hey, get me out of this thing, man. I got a chance to double, triple my money. So it's just stupid, crazy out there the way this thing is heading. It's not sustainable. I don't know where it'll ever end. Just hope it's sometime sooner than later.
Yeah, and that's what I keep asking the fans here on the chat and the show. Like, how much are they going to continue to stay entrenched in this, because it's professional sports now, and those stories. Yeah. And what you said is so true though, Mike. You don't blame the kid. Who wouldn't take that opportunity as a young college kid? Anybody would. I would have, you would have.
Oh, absolutely.
You played, right. It's not the kid, it's the system.
Yeah. That damn $15 a month laundry money I got. Come on. I could have doubled that somewhere else.
You could have went somewhere. You'd have had pizza money for the weekend.
Oh my goodness. I could have had 2 dates.
I mean,
gone to movies and everything. Yeah. But I mean, it totally is out of whack, and you can't blame the kid. I mean, it's just like, you get a chance to double, triple your money. Why would you not do that? And just say, I don't care what I signed. And it might make people more reluctant to sign a 2-year deal, right? Like he did with Duke.
Sure.
Like, I'm only going to sign 1 year. But there needs to be some ramifications, and, hey, if you don't perform, or if you don't live up to expectations, or, you leave or something, there should be some backside of that thing for sure.
I know. I don't understand how it's evolved into this, and how it's evolved into actually no risk at all for the athlete. It's all on the school or the whatever deal. You're right. If you don't win enough games, doesn't matter. If you don't play well, if you're hurt, you only play 3 or 4 games, you're still getting paid. And it should be a contract, like a professional contract, an employee contract.
And then you fire a guy like you fire Brent Pry after those games, and then you're sitting there thinking, okay, these players can kind of do whatever they want, right? They can decide, hey, I think I'm in a red shirt. No, this foot injury is really bugging me. I can't play. And you just make excuse after excuse, and it's just it's not a perfect system by any means.
It's not. And by the way, did your Duke source talk about what are they doing at quarterback now? I'm sure they hadn't planned for that, right?
No, I think they're working on it. They've got some couple kids in, and they're working on more. But yeah, I don't know that it's been defined yet what they're going to do. So yeah, I mean that's tough when you have a kid that's committed to you for 2 years and then he bails on you. I mean, I'd be kind of upset with the diet guy, and then they got to play at Miami too. That's going to be a heck of a game when that comes around. You know, Manny Diaz coached there, and now the quarterback went there. Yeah, that'll be a little bit of extra stuff on that one.
Well, and I've tried to relate that from a Tech perspective. Let's say Grunkmeyer comes in and he sets the world on fire, right? Well, what if Alabama or Georgia says, "Hey, you want to come play for $8 million a year?" And then all of a sudden, it could happen here too. I mean, nobody's immune to this. If somebody like Duke, and we're seeing that can happen, it can happen anywhere across the country.
Yeah, that's true. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. And, you know, I don't know what Indiana's payroll was, but, you know, Cignetti did a great job with his guys. But, you know, some of those kids were flying under the radar and they had a little chip on their shoulder and they played well. So, you know, it's hopefully it'll work out here and won't have those types of issues, and the kids will come here and have a good year and love it and want to stay. So,
yeah.
You know, we'll just have to wait and see. That's to be determined.
Well, what are you going to do with your broadcast week off? You get to take a deep breath for a little while.
Yeah, it's a little bit nice. I mean, we do have that press conference tomorrow. We still have the radio show on Thursday, and we'll leave Friday for NC State. They did move that game up, Rick. I don't know if you saw that. That game was scheduled at NC State and Raleigh at 1:30 on the CW. And the CW apparently lost a game during the bad weather part. And so they were just going to have a doubleheader Saturday. And so now they moved the Virginia Tech game up to noon because they're going to have a triple header. So
really?
That'll be better for us, you know, go down there and get that noon game, get out of there. So that'll help, you know, and you give you a few more extra hours to get back. And then they'll get ready for Clemson on Wednesday because you have to go down there Tuesday. And so, yeah, these back-to-backers here will be a little bit tougher. Not as bad as Syracuse Louisville, to say the least. But, yeah, two really good teams. So
broadcaster's dream, hearing that the time is going to be moved up. Oh,
I know. Especially, I wish they'd move some of those 9 o'clock games up, right? Those 9 p.m.s are the worst.
Thing. We don't have as many of them. Yeah. We have them on our ESPNU. Now they're doing that. They're rotating every other week. So there's a big South game on ESPNU, and it's always at 9. And you're right. It's just the worst vibe in the world. It is.
Yeah,
should be playing
that's
9
true.
o'clock.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. It's winding down fast, though. It's amazing how few games are left. And
it is.
Gosh, baseball, softball starts in 10 days or something. So yeah, it's if we get rid of the snow.
Yeah, get the fields clear. Maybe so. We'll see.
Yeah, might have a chance to get outside sometime.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, Mike, thanks as always. And as always, we want to thank Louise Baker and the Long and Foster team.
She's the best. Louise is the best. And
giving away tickets this week. She's giving away hoops tickets this week on the show.
Oh, is she really? Okay, that's great.
Yep.
She's the bomb. Love Louise, everything she does, and she's a great Hokie. Been around for a long time and does a fantastic job.
As do you, my friend. As always.
Yeah.
Well, listen, stay warm, and we'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the presser tomorrow. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be fun. Who do you guys got this week?
It's a big week for our league. We've got the top 2 teams in the league. We got Winthrop at home tomorrow. They're the top dog right now. Mark Prosser's done a great job. Of course, Skip Prosser's son. He is he's a good coach.
Yep.
And they're playing well. And then we go to High Point on Saturday night. So it's a big week after sweeping the 2 games this weekend. So it's a big chance here to move up. So we'll see.
Yeah, awesome. Well, good luck. Go Highs.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, brother. You take care, man.
All right, Rick, you do the same, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, man. Be good. There you go. Mike Burnop. Great stuff as always. Mike's seen everything in 43 years of broadcasting, playing, and, you know, it'd be great just to think about the evolution of how things have gone as he's seen the business of college sports and where it is now. And it's so troubling. It's just so troubling. $8 million is one of our, who is it? Wayne said in chat. That's a rookie contract. Yeah. $8 million a year to play college. And where's the motivation, as some people are saying? Yeah. Where's the motivation for a kid to get better when there's no pressure on him to get better because he's already getting paid without any retribution, right? You don't play well, You're still getting your money the way it is right now. I just don't understand how that's going to work. Long term, I don't understand how that's going to work. Mike said it's not sustainable. In any way, shape, or form is it sustainable. It's just not. They're having an information press conference tomorrow, Prometheus. Just hey, here's where we are. Here's our staff. Picture day, as Mike said. And I think the local media finally gets a chance to talk to the coaches. They haven't been able to do that. They've been locked out, which has frustrated a lot of people. So I think this is just an information session. I mean, James Franklin saying he wants his spring game to be sold out. They have to start getting the wheels in motion a little bit. Start with their promotional packaging of their program now. So that's all that is tomorrow. It's nothing major. It's not a big announcement or anything like that. So, but when I hear those stories, I just always end up shaking my head. $8 million a year to be a college quarterback. Just how much more are we going to take? How much more are we going to take? I'm sure it'll be on Okie Sports, right? They usually stream all the press conferences. Like they have their YouTube channel too. You'll be able to find it. You'll be able to find it. We'll find out tomorrow. Damian Sortolet will be on, and Damian will be there because I know he's been looking forward to the opportunity. So we'll ask Damian. I'm sure it's going to be on there on their site. I can't imagine that they would not have it. What did Mike say? Noon? Noon or 1? I think it's noon. I think it's noon tomorrow. So we'll see. What's up, Pat? Good morning to you too. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for timing in, man. Tell your friends, Pat, subscribe, like, and share the channel. Trying to get to 800 subscribers here. And I did check. We have 13 different countries represented as subscribers. That's kind of cool. BDST International, the underground. Yeah, tell them you subscribe. We don't bother you. It's free. And they might want to check in sometime. All you get's a little 5-second, hey, if you go to YouTube, this show's starting. That's all it is. But we killed all the metrics. I just got the update last night, and they're thrilled. Obviously, they're going to start pushing subscribers. But, people are watching and contributing, and that's great. And I know sometimes you forget to subscribe, you forget to like. But it's important, too, when you watch, hit like. Go through and like. If you haven't liked, go back and just like. You don't have to watch the whole thing again. We're going to do some expansive things here with the Big Dog Sports Talk channel. I'm kicking around some ideas, talking to some people about some ideas. So the channel can expand beyond just the live show, and it will. So I just got to get some things in order here. I think there's a lot that can be done. That's what's so great about this format. You don't have any limits. It's pretty much a free-flowing. It'll always be respectful, but it's a free-flowing thought machine. You don't have to sit there and have a radio station general manager not like something that you're talking about, or have, got to get off, the news is coming up, or have to take a break at a certain hour. We just do our breaks within the show now, talking about all of our great sponsors, which we have done throughout the day today. And then you can just get your guests on. And I think it's added a lot. It's been cool. I didn't know how I would adapt to it. I fought it for several months throughout the summer. I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And it was all about West Durham calling me one time in June, July, and just said, "What? Just do it. Just try it. If you don't like it, pull it off, Rick. Who's gonna?" In the West Durham manner, as when we talked about it when he was on the show. Just do it. If you don't like it after a month, just pull it off. Who the hell cares? Okay, yeah, you're right. All right, or you can see the show's mascot. I hope you don't get tired of hearing about Creed. Creed he's a special story. And I've told it many times of how he was found. And the people's champ. He's a gamer, man. He has a unique personality. He does. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. He's not down here right now. But he went out this morning like at 4:30 and didn't come back. And you know when I got up a little while ago? That was him finally coming back in. Yeah, that was him. By the way, Wayne, all the yummies that you sent, that Wayne, by the way, and Carol, and I got to get the Rocky thing up. I don't know why I haven't yet, but they sent this pack of kitty treats. I don't know where you found it. I've never seen it. Only Wayne and Carol. And he loved all three of them. It's like a special thing, and he loves it. He loves it. So thank you for that. He gotten a lot of. I mean, that was back during Christmas. We're in February. I still have like 2 of those things, 1.5 left. Yeah, he's a good boy. You know, I lost my dog many years ago, so I've never really had enough. Like I haven't wanted to replace him. So Creed's been a nice. He's been a nice buffer to come in. Because unlike, you know, a lot of people don't like cats, and I don't understand that. I don't know how you don't like animals. Dogs, cats, I mean, they're both great. I don't know why you. But cats have a bad rep from people, and I don't understand that. He's amazing. It's like, and you got to earn that trust and that friendship there. He's great. Great. So, but I got to get the Rocky thing up. I mean, I keep it right here. And of all the great things that Wayne sent me in my care package for Christmas, I mean, I'm thinking like right here. What do you think? Can y'all see that? I think that's where it's going to go, right there. What do you think? Yeah. That's where I'm going to put it, right there. Well, I've got space here, maybe there. Oh, you're saying cover up one of those Bronco things, aren't you, Wayne? You see, one of the things I want to do is have like a pop culture channel, because I want to talk about, and I think that would be big, because I believe Carl Weathers is as integral to the success of the whole Rocky establishment as Sylvester Stallone. Not as much, because he wrote the first screenplay and he's Rocky, for God's sakes, but he could not have been cast any more perfectly, and he was so wonderful. I don't think there was anything Carl Weathers ever did that I didn't like, and he is greatly missed. He is greatly missed. All right, great stuff today. Thanks to Marva, who's always out. How great is Marva? Isn't Marva great? I got to know her for years at the radio station when she was the roving news gal. I was the roving sports guy, and we were just passing the studio. She was out of college, and Marva's great. Marva's great. So thanks to Marva. And thanks to Brian Seigla. I can't say enough for Brian and what they do to pod. I love those guys. You just put it on because they just it's a great time, have such a great conversation. If you're not watching the Boundary Corner podcast, you need to. If you're a tech fan, they're great. Hey, if we do a pop culture podcast, Wayne, you're welcome. We'll get everybody on there. Heck, absolutely. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be popular. I think it's limitless. I'm going to do something, and something get Neil involved in. And, of course, Mike Burnop. Thanks to everybody today. Tomorrow's the Hump Day Wednesday edition. Everybody stay safe. We're going to warm up a little today. And, I'd love to talk about all these shows. Tulsa King's great. Landman, people are loving it. I need to watch Landman, apparently. But we'll save that. Everybody take care. Thanks for chiming in. Please subscribe, like, tell your friends. If you think about it during the day, just say, hey, let me show you. Just hit subscribe here. Show them how easy it is. Hit subscribe, then we leave them alone. We got to get the numbers up. Thank you for the watches. The show has gotten more and more popular every month in terms of views and rewatches. It's outstanding, and I owe it all to you. And we will see everybody tomorrow on the Wednesday edition. Stay safe, everybody. Hit me up on the Professional Door text line, and it's always great to see you on the McClellan chat. Take care, everybody.